Mountains of Mecca, what can you say of the day that Abraham passed your way, and he was instructed by God to build a house of peace where people will pray, and they will come on every lean camel and out of every ravine for the purpose of praising Allah, to glorify Allah. O mountains of Mecca, what can you tell of the day that stones from the sky fell, destroying an army determined to break the house of Allah that Abraham built? O mountains of Mecca, how was the dawn on the day that my Prophet Muhammad was born?
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. I greet one and all with the divine universal greetings of Assalamu alaikum. May the peace and the mercies and the blessings of God Almighty be with one and all. Dearest, most and beloved divine brothers and sisters, recently we did 2 parts on the Hajj, on the pilgrimage to Mecca, and tried by the grace of Allah to educate as much as I possibly could have. Before that, we had done climate change, the environment according to the Quran, the teachings of the Holy Prophet, and the religion of Islam. And one of the highlights there, and I did it at the mosque in Queenstown, in which I went to tell the Imam to announce to the people, when they're making the wudu, don't waste the water. Why do we turn on the tap and the water pouring out fat like this, when I would turn it and all I need is drips, a little thin constant drip of water to make my wudu. You don't need to waste all that water. And one of the highlights of the teachings there was that the Prophet had taught us that if you're passing by a stream or a waterfall and you have to make your wudu, to be conservative with the water, even though you have a waterfall. Do not waste the water to make the wudu. So valuable and precious is the elixir, the medicine for life, water. Is it any wonder that the Quran tells us that all life comes forth from the water? Is it any wonder that our Hindu brothers and sisters worship aspect or the attribute of God that controls the water? It's an amazing thing. And you know, brothers and sisters, a lot of people don't know this. And I'm just a humble servant learning bits by bits as I go along, mostly self-taught. Sometimes when I have a problem, I will turn to my friend Sheikh Moinul Haq of the Central Islamic Organization of Guyana, who will give me certain quotes sort of a thing that I'm seeking or so on, or his explanation, which might be different from me, but respectfully, because I am an open, universal-minded person. For me, not only we who dress like this or worship the way we do are Muslims. Whoever submits themselves to the will of God is a Muslim. That's the international concept of my understanding of this great and amazing religion of Islam. Some can't take that. And some think Muslims should only look after Muslims. Not this Muslim. I believe we have a responsibility for the entire dunya, for all peoples. We as Muslims have a responsibility for all humanity, for the entire earth. In the past years now, I used the Bhagavad Gita to do an Islamic sermon to prove the oneness of God. In previous sermons, I used the Holy Bible to prove the oneness of God. And on a constant basis, I use the masterpiece of the unity of Islam, or unity in Islam of God, the Holy and the glorious Quran. We were talking about the environment, and I have promised that I will use, the next time I have the opportunity, I will use quotes and teachings from Sanatan Dharma, which is the right name of what people refer to themselves as Hindus. There's not a single word, and a lot of Hindus don't know this, and a lot of pundits do. There's not a single word of Hindu in the Bhagavad Gita. It doesn't exist. I found that out. And once I was embarrassed by a prominent pundit, and I was at another function with him at a convention center, and I had to look at him when Swami said that in this book, there's not, this Bhagavad Gita, there's not a single word of Hindu in it. The word for that great and amazing religion of Krishna or Lord Krishna is Sanatan Dharma, the universal laws, the eternal laws, the eternal song, the celestial song, Bhagavad Gita. We can never understand and know other people's religions unless we study their holy books with an open heart and let the book and let God speak to our hearts. And while I was getting the points to speak to you about Hinduism in nature, and I was running through this special Bhagavad Gita was gifted to me when I was in India, I came up with some beautiful philosophy again, which I marked out, and some of you may be able to see. The wise man. See here? I marked it out. The wise man. Years ago when I was in India, and as I was studying the book in my travels in the year 1999. And the book is telling us, or Lord Krishna, speaking to his student Arjuna, in the epic physical and metaphysical battle that was taking place. And the book is saying, the self-controlled man, though enjoying the sensory objects, with his senses restrained and free from attachment and hatred, obtains peace. One time more? One time more? They're saying me here in the Electric Mosque teachings about Islam, one time more. The self-controlled man, though enjoying the sensory objects, enjoying things that the senses have, with his senses restrained, which means controlled, not eliminated, and free from attachment. Don't get attached. Doesn't mean you shouldn't have children and wife and family, but don't get attached maniacally so you get hurt and betrayed. The self-controlled man, although enjoying the sensory objects with his senses, restrained or controlled, and free from attachment and hatred, he does not hate anyone, obtains peace. In that peace of mind, the threefold sorrows exist no longer, because the intellect of the person whose mind is full of bliss is soon established in Brahma, the universal creator, Brahma. Like we would say, Allah. There might be certain conceptual differences or opinions. One who is not united with the highest self, there is no intellect or intelligence for him. And there is no concentration in the unsteady mind. And in the unmeditative mind, there is no peace. How can there be any peace to one who is without peace? Peace, my brother. Sure. You're handling it well. Handle it well. Handle things well. We all must handle things well and have peace in our hearts. I made a point here. Just, you don't have to move, operator. The sense is like a strong wind. 1167 of the Bhagavad Gita. Just as the strong winds sweep away a boat in the waters, the mind wanders after the senses, which freely follow the sense objects, and his thinking or discerning faculty is carried away. You begin to lose your sense. I'm giving the Muslims an opportunity also to learn to study the Bhagavad Gita. And I'm giving the Hindus an opportunity, or the Sanatan Dharma children, to study the holy and the glorious Quran. My view is unity, goodwill, and respect for world peace. My brothers and sisters, and it goes on. Let me read that one time more. Just as a strong wind sweeps away a boat in the waters, the mind wanders after the senses, which freely follow the sense objects, and his thinking faculty is carried away. Those who do wrong things, those who do evil things, those who steal and manipulate and get maniacally involved with sexualities and sense subjects. They lose their sense, they lose their families, they lose their future. They lose everything. And eventually, the monster of the dragon of evil will eat them away. My gift to you, brothers, sisters of Sanatan Dharma brothers, Muslims and all, from the Bhagavad Gita, that is a message of philosophy taken from this book. And I'm happy to hear now, these days, my very good friend Sheikh Muin al-Haq making quotes and speaking of the Bhagavad Gita. We were told in the holy and glorious Quran, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, O Muhammad, peace and blessings of God be upon you. You shall believe in this Quran which has been revealed unto you, and you shall believe in that which was revealed before thy time. What are the Hindu standpoint on protection of the environment? Many Hindus, when you say Sanatan Dharma, they really don't understand what you're talking about because they haven't been educated appropriately. Some, many are, and many are very scholarly and have great respect for the priests and the preachers and the pundits and so on. But just like we have some bad imams and priests, in Christianity we have some bad pundits too. So we will use the word Hindu for the time being as I deal with this topic, and then at times I will use the word Sanatan Dharma, eternal laws. To the Hindu people, the concept of environment protection is not a modern phenomenon. They inherited it from their ancestors. During the earliest formative period of their society, Hindus first perceived God's presence around them through nature. Muslims, you know, when they were asking Prophet Muhammad, well, we heard of Jesus who did miracles and magic, and Muhammad did a lot of that too as the time grew right. They were asking him to do magic and miracles, and he told them that Allah's or God's creation is the greatest of miracles. That look at the flying of the bird, at the tides as it moves and leaves and how it returns. Look at the creation of from night and day. Look at birth and so forth. So the Hindus first saw God's presence around them through nature. The natural forces that govern their daily lives were considered manifestation of an almighty creator they called the Brahma, not the Brahmin caste, where anyone could become a Brahmin. The Sudra, according to the Bhagavad Gita, and any Hindu scholar who have a problem with that, I would like to have a lovely, friendly debate in a beautiful voice. That anyone can become a Brahmin, and the Brahmin can become a Sudra or Chamar or the low caste by behavior, attitude, education, not pride. It's not biological, but by attainment of discipline and goodwill. So when they saw these manifestations, they think of it all as the Brahma, the creator who put all these things here to make it possible. Ancient Sanatana Dharma or Hindus felt Brahman's presence in everything around them. So do I. When I go to a tree, I feel the presence of Allah. Every creation. When I touch a beautiful horse or a cattle or a cow or I see nature, the blowing of the fertilizing wind, I feel the presence of God. Every bite of a fruit, I feel and taste the pleasure and the bounty and the mercies of my God. Since these divine forces sustain all living creatures and organic things on the earth, to please God they felt they must live in harmony with His creation, which includes the rivers, the forests, the sun, the air and the mountains, that they are all aspects of God's creation, and whatever is created by God is godlike in nature. This is the Sanatana Dharma's or the Hindus' interpretation of God. And when they go Namaskar or Namaste, they're saying, I bow to the God within you. We know that Allah is within us. He's closer to us than our jugular veins. Their beliefs spawned many rituals that are still followed by traditional Hindus in India and around the world. For example, before the foundation of the building is dug, a priest is invited to perform the Bhumi Puja, a worship that will ask the earth through the power of God to appease the earth and seek forgiveness for hurting her, or in a way destroying her by putting chemicals, machinery, poisons in the earth which gives life. Certain plants, trees and rivers were and are considered sacred and worshipped in certain festivals, honoring it through the power of God. For example, the tulsi leaf, the neem, the turmeric, which is now discovered or found by the North Americans and the Europeans, and they're behaving as if they found it. All the kinds of things they're making with turmeric, which our ancestors have been using for millions upon millions of years. Although human beings are seen as the most intelligent life form on earth, they are responsible for almost all the damage done to the earth. No animal destroy the earth. They help the earth. They die, their body fertilize the earth. Their feces fertilize the earth. They don't destroy anything. The destruction is done by one animal, the animal known as man. The rational man, through his pride, named himself Homo sapiens, Homo sapiens. Intelligent man, wise man, out of his ego. But he destroys the earth. Let's see what they're saying here. They are responsible for almost all the damage done to the earth. So the example is being given. If we imagine the earth is 46 years of age, imagine the earth is just 46 years of age, the damage done at this time has taken place in the last 60 seconds of the earth's life. Within 60 seconds, all the damage we have done here, compare it to just 46 years of the earth. Imagine what we are doing to this earth. And we don't have respect to it. You know, if I cut a tree, for some reason I beg pardon, and I planted seed, create a progeny, I respect the tree because the seed comes through the mercy and the glory of Allah, or as the Hindus say, Brahma. Hinduism is very concerned with the relationship between humanity and the environment. Karma teaches that resources in this world become scarce because people use them for their own ends. People should use the world unselfishly in order to maintain the natural balance. Don't overdo. Let us say some people who eat fish and they go and catch fish and they have enough to sustain themselves. They keep on catching and then they don't have enough ice to freeze it and then it spoils them. Don't use anything in excess. Don't cut trees in excess that you need. Don't cut trees if you're a woodcutter, excess, to give you excess luxury and destroy the planet. Because we have to repay God for the gifts He has given in karma. Because if we destroy the earth, we'll have earthquakes, floods, hurricanes. For so sustained by sacrifice, the gods will give you the food of your desire. Whoso enjoys their gift, yet gives nothing, is a thief, not more nor less. Are now coming up to wrap-up time. A few instances or practices of how Hindus behave with nature are touching. The floor before getting out of bed, bowing down to the rivers, encircling the trees with sacred thread, feeding birds and animals. And you know, I do these things. I touch the tree and I thank God Almighty for the tree and I thank the tree. I take a fruit, I pick a fruit, I eat the fruit and I thank the tree and I thank God. So that could be compared as a kind of worship. Sometimes we Muslims misunderstand worship when it comes to communication and understanding. All the Hindu religious rituals require to honor water and specific trees because water is life. Without water, we cannot live. So we have to honor and respect the water or we will not care the waters. We will mess it, muddy it, dirty it and throw all kinds of filth and debris in it. So we have to honor the water. And they have some specific trees, for example, people, banyan, tulsi, parijat, ashok, sandalwood. And these are used in various forms of their worship. In addition, the mango leaf, wood apple tree leaf, gooseberry tree all have equal value in their religious rituals. It all means saving trees are necessary for rituals to keep going and for us to have our life, which then becomes an integral part of life. Each Hindu household keeps sacred plants and worships every morning as a duty, believing the plants are creations or manifestations of God Almighty. Whatever God creates carries God's signature within it. Basically, that it means the signature of God is in all the creation. Brothers and sisters, this is my message here to you, Sanatan Dharma or Hindu brothers and sisters, Muslims, taken from the Bhagavad Gita and the Mahabharata, and previously, and parts came out also from the Holy and the glorious Quran. La ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah.
Nabi Allah, on mountains of Mecca you were there, when the Prophet Muhammad came down in despair, engraved in his heart were the words of his Lord to all of mankind. This was his call. La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. All people praise only